these here are the turn plates that I made that are going to allow us to check the camber with a loaded suspension and any other alignment issues as well. But these two front ones I'll rotate. Of course, the back ones don't need to since there's no alignment on the rear of this car. It's a solid rear axle. And then I can adjust the height too to make sure that they're all perfectly level and at the same height. That way when I set the car back down onto them, the car is perfectly level. These ones here I made using the strut mount for the front shock or the struts, and just mounted them to these plates so I can rotate the plate amongst that. All right, we got the stand set up and we went ahead and leveled it. We can use those little screws there and raise and lower each side, and you can see we got it perfectly level there. Also did the same for the rear. So now we can go ahead and lower the car onto the plates. Okay, the suspension is fully loaded on these turn plates. And as you can see, I can easily turn the wheel back and forth just by applying a little bit of pressure. So this should work real well for the alignment. And with all the weight on these turn plates, I can turn this, but you definitely want to make sure that everything's perfectly straight before you take any camber measurements. And we got the camber gauge all zeroed out. And when we put it on here, you can see that we're right there at 2 degrees of negative camber. And we'll go check the other side here. And it's also right there at 2 degrees negative camber. Just put the camber bolts back in. We got the tab here facing out, and then we got the little plus sign here. On the other side is a negative. So the plus, when it's lined up with this tab, gives you the most camber, and we have it pointing out, so it's giving us more positive camber, and it should be an additional 1.5 degrees of positive camber. And the camber bolt here, it's a 15 mm, so it gets torqued to 100 pound-feet. And of course the stock OEM bolt gets torqued to 148 pound-feet. All right, now we set the weight back down onto the plates that are level, and we'll check the camber once again. And we can see here now that we have about 3/4 of 1 degree of negative camber. Let's check the other side. Hopefully we have about the same. And we do. One other thing to note, when you do check the camber of the wheel, make sure that they're pointing straight forward, because if not, here, watch this. I'll turn the wheel here and I'll show you. This is very small change here. And you can see that right there's about 1/2 degree of negative camber. I'll move it the other direction. And then look at that, about 1/2 degree of positive camber. And you can see that the wheel is still pretty straight. It's just pointed a little bit to the right, and it has that big of an effect on the camber. So definitely make sure that the wheels are straight ahead before you take any camber measurements.